bodies and we're all different. I'm turning off this noise so we don't have that. So with that in mind, that the head is heavy and we need to keep the head back as much as we can. We don't mean back like that, right? We mean ears over shoulders as best as we can. And we want to open up our shoulders so they're not rounded forward, because that's going to cause the head to go forward. And it's not easy to hold our head up. So it's something that we have to draw awareness to, which is where the yoga comes in, because the yoga gives you the time to become more aware of it. And when you become more aware of it, then you can keep, you're able to make these little minor adjustments throughout your day. So let's start by finding our seat. And so this is another thing. It's when we look at the head, we have to look at the whole body because everything's connected. When we look at the neck, we've got to look at above and below, but also the whole body. So let's sit up tall, which means not rigid or stiff, but rock forward and back on your sitting bones. So just rock forward and back. You might take your hands to your hips and feel the tilt of the pelvis. Now, the lower back was mentioned too as an area that we wanted to work on today. Sometimes the lower back is really stiff and being pulled on by the legs. And sometimes it's hypermobile, and that can be why there's pain. Most of the time it's tightness, but every so often it's also like hyperflexibility. And of course, there can be other reasons which you'd want to check with your doctor on. But when we move the pelvis forward and back, that should feel good on your spine. You should not feel pain. If it feels like it's too much of a rock, you can lessen the rock a little bit and maybe not go quite as much. But if something's painful, then pull back right away and let's make adjustments so we're not pushing through things. Let's find the midway between forward and back with our pelvis, and then lift up and out of the waist. And circle the shoulders up and roll them back and around a few times. When we're going to find that sweet spot for the shoulders while we're sitting tall, we don't want it pulling back too far because that is pulling on the neck. See this? It's pretty nasty when we do that. So rather, we want to find that spot where we're not pulling back, where the shoulders aren't forward and they're not too far back. So it's the same thing with the pelvis and with the shoulders. See if you can find that now. See if you can find that. So we've got shoulders over hips and then ears tending towards over shoulders. So ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Take a breath in and a breath out. Feel the belly expand on that inhale, and then exhale out, belly pulls back in. We're going to take it to a stronger breath today. So what I mean by that is I want you to start being conscious of, on the exhale, pull your belly in and up. It's not a squeezing like this. It's a pulling in. You're going to feel the muscles at the bottom of your pelvic floor and your lower abdomen pull in. On the inhale, let that go. Let go of that pulling in. So it's a pulling in and a pulling up. So the pelvic floor tightens, it pulls in, and then you feel like you're pulling your musculature, the energy in and up through your spine. That's supportive for your lower back. Breathe in and breathe out. And pull the belly in and up. It's not a squeezing. It's more of a pulling. You'll feel a toning without a squeezing. If you feel like you have to hold your breath or crunch your eyes, it's too much. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's bring our arms into a cactus. That's it. And elbows come forward and then open them up. And bring them forward and open them up. Beautiful. And lift and elbows downward. Reach them up and exhale, lower them down. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring the shoulders in and open them up. Good. Next time they come in, tilt your forearms towards the right. Beautiful. Inhale up and tilt them towards the left. Back up. This time, take your forearms towards the right and tilt your head slightly to the left. You're probably going to feel a pull on the right side of your neck. If it's too much, then lessen it up. Or come back to neutral with the head back up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, rise back up. Open up. Lifting the arms skyward. Exhale, pull them down. Bring the forearms towards each other. Tilt the forearms towards the left. Now we're going to tilt the right ear towards the right. And you're going to feel a pull on the left side. It's a gentle pull. It's not a pull like, oh, this is too much of a pull. Breathe in. And breathe out. Come back to neutral. Lower your arms down by your side, turning the palms forward. You might scooch you a little forward in your chair. When the palms are forward, you can feel your shoulder blades come more onto the back. When the shoulders are forward, the shoulder blades generally can more easily come off the back. So shoulders roll up and back. Let's inhale and take the arms skyward. Beautiful. Breathe in. Breathe out. Side bend fluidly towards your right. And then lift up and towards your left. Breathe in. And breathe out. Next time you go towards your right, you're going to take your left arm outside your right thigh and your right arm out towards the side at a diag. And you might gaze at it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, palms back to center. Now make sure that we tone our belly on the twist. So we breathe in. Breathe out. Pull the pelvic floor and the belly in and up, and then find your twist towards your right. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale back to center. Let's do that again. Twist. Take a breath in, a breath out, back to center. This time, take your left hand outside your right thigh, press against it, and maybe your right hand goes to the back of the chair or back at that diag. Neck is turning slowly to gaze at your thumb. If it feels like it's too much of a stretch, don't quite look that far back. So we got to make our own adjustments. Inhale, come back to center, arms wide. Lift them skyward. Exhale, lower them about shoulder height. Interlace your fingers. And then feel like you're pulling the wrists and the palms away from each other, but the fingers are interlaced. So we're forward, we're pulling our palms away from each other. Then turn your palms towards the screen or away from you and press the wrists away. And then again, switch it up. This time, maybe bring the palms together and take your pointer fingers forward. And feel that mudra. And then let's open up. Take your arms back wide. That's right. And let's find our first twist here. So right hand outside, left thigh, and left arm back behind you. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. Come back to center, arms rise up. Beautiful. Bring your palms to heart center. Take a breath in. Tone your pelvic floor and your belly. Twist towards your left. The head turns. Notice what you feel in your neck. If it feels like it's too much, loosen, then bring it back forward a little bit more. Inhale back to neutral. Let's do that again. Twisting towards our left. Keep feeling in your twist like your crown is rising skyward. You are royalty. Breathe in, breathe out, come back to center. Take your right hand outside your left thigh and your left hand either at this diag, or you can clasp the seat or the back of the chair. Roll the shoulders up and back. Find your twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull the belly in and up. And release. And we return to center. We return to center. Arms wide. Big hug. Take your elbows towards your navel, drop your chin. Feel the belly pull in on your exhale. Inhale, open it up, heart rising, palms back. Exhale, other arm on top, curl in and take your elbows towards your belly. Lift up, take your arms back. Curl your fingers in towards your palm, thumbs up, heart lifting, top of the ears slightly back. So we're not dropping our neck back. It looks like this. Kind of think of the Titanic, right? At the end of the boat. And then come back to neutral, hands at your heart. Wonderful. Let's take the time now to stretch the back of our legs, because that's one of the things that is just so important for the lower back. And you can either place your feet or your foot on some books or a chair in front of you or a table in front of you or a bed in front of you. And if you don't have one, that's okay. This is a nice way to get a stretch. So we're placing the strap around our foot. Now we're going to be mindful of how our head and our shoulders move as we do this stretch. So strap is around. We lift tall, shoulders over hips. Then we're going to pull the toes towards you on the right side, spread them. Notice if you're feeling a stretch. Breathe in and breathe out. Give it a few breaths to see if it starts to settle in. Sometimes the stretch doesn't come right away. Then, if you're not feeling anything, you can start to move forward by tilting your pelvis, like how we started, tilting the pelvis forward. We want to keep the neck in line with the spine, and our shoulders on our back. So not this, but this. Shoulders up and back, head in line with spine. Gaze forward and down as you tilt forward until you feel that stretch. And when you do, stop, breathe, feel the sensation. If you feel like you want to go a little bit more, you can go a little bit more. If you feel like you need to back off, back off. This is where the practice becomes yours. I'm just your facilitator, your guide in the practice, if you will. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's rise back up. Now we're going to externally rotate the leg. So now the heel is in center and the toes are pointing outward towards the right. And you can rest that foot on something in front of you that's got some height to it. But if you're super tight, you actually don't even need anything on it. So however, you're going to have to play with this to see where's the best stretch for you in terms of how high up your leg is placed. Again, shoulders on the back. You want your ears in line with your shoulders. So for me, sometimes I close my eyes. You know, students will say, why are you closing your eyes? Because sometimes I can feel it more that way. So we focus in, shoulders on the back. Then I might lean forward to get a little bit more of a stretch. Then we stop. Take a pause and notice what you're feeling. Breathe in and breathe out. And this is where it's nice to take several breaths. You can feel and give your body a chance to lengthen. As some people say, it takes a while for it to get tight and it takes a while for it to loosen up. And then we'll release that and let it go. And let's switch our knees right and left. Just let that go. And we'll do the other side. Now, if you are feeling like you're tight in your shoulders and your neck, so remember, we're looking above and below for the neck. You might loop your strap, place it around your foot, and then place the foot down. That can be very helpful because I don't have to clasp the tie. And you can make this loop so that you don't have to even lean forward. So if you can see, this strap is in a loop around my foot, and then my arms are inside the loop. You don't have to do this, by the way. It's just an option if your hands get sore. And then we pull the shoulders up and back. So it's the same thing. And if I want to lean forward, I probably got to tighten the strap up or hold on to the sides. So if I want to go a little bit more forward, shoulders up and back, I'm holding on to the sides. Another way would be to tighten the strap up, which you probably don't need to do this, but I'm showing it nonetheless. And so we're finding that stretch right where we're at. Right where we're at, meaning you're not going to pull it any more than you need it. And you're going to breathe while you're in the stretch. Then we're going to externally rotate. So now the left heel comes in and the left toes go outward. And feel the stretch here because it changes up when we externally rotate the leg. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. And if you feel like you need to stay longer in a pose because you're enjoying the stretch, I encourage you to. Either that or go back to it at some point during your day. And the more you do it, the more it's going to loosen up. If we're dealing with extreme rigidity or spasticity, it's going to take some time. And then let's release the strap and let that go. I'll place that back by our side. And let's open up our legs a little bit. So we are in our goddess or Zeus pose or horsey pose. So many different names. And we're going to take our arms into that cactus and then take your fingertips towards the back of your head. Now, you might close your eyes here. I want you to imagine the back of the head going slightly back and then the crown reaching up to the sky. Then let's tilt our right elbow down. Again, lean slightly back into your fingertips. Push down through your feet. Breathe in. Breathe out. Next time you breathe in, pull your pelvic floor in and up, tone the belly, rise up. Breathe in, release. Breathe out, tone. Now find your side bend towards your left. Again, lean your head, the back of your skull, slightly back. And then you might feel a little bit more of an opening. Breathe in. On your breath out, pull your pelvic floor in and up. Press down, rise up. Release your hands in your lap. Forearm. We're going to take our forearm to the thigh and let's circle the left arm around. And you can gently follow your fingertips with your gaze. Breathe in and breathe out. And then let's take our arm over the ear and reach, and then pull the elbow back and lengthen and pull back and lengthen and reach back. And one more. Breathe in, breathe out. You might gaze up, but if your neck is telling you no, then gaze down. Or even directly forward can be nice. Push down through your feet to rise up and lift your heels. Let's push the heels of our hands away at the same time. So we're pressing our palms away and our fingers are up. Spread your fingers. Exhale, lower on down. Inhale, heels rise. Push down through the big toe all the way to the little toes. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly lower the heels down. And let's bring our forearm to the thigh and circle it around and about with the right arm. And follow your elbow and follow your arm. Think of it like you're moving your arm through warm water. Feels so good just to move it and swish the water around. And then let's take it over the ear and pull it back. And over the ear and pull it back. A few times. Notice how you start to feel a stretch on the side of your body. And then lengthen to the best of your ability. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull the pelvic floor in and up. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more time. Let's lift the heels as we rise up. Extend the fingers long. Now feel your shoulders. Turn the palms and the underside of your arms skyward. Lower the heels down. Take your forearms towards each other. That's it. Tilt them towards the right. Tilt your neck towards the left. Woo. Inhale to center. Tilt the forearms towards your left and your neck towards the right. This is a different one, isn't it? It's different. Let's inhale to center and bring our hands to our thighs and walk one foot forward and then the other. That's it. Take a breath in and a breath out as you reach your arms skyward. Exhaling, arms out to the side. Bring the palms to the thighs. Circle the shoulders up and back. Now take a pause here. See if you can bring your mind's eye to your shoulders and your ears lining up. So we don't want the head down here. Remember, that's going to make it super heavy. We want it lining up with our heart spine. And then as you draw your shoulders up and back, you get a little back bend and the top of your ears may go back and your sitting bones go back and you are in a back bend. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we're going to go from right to cat pose. So push the palms down Take your chin to your chest and lean back. We are in our cat pose. Let's go back to cow with that back bend. So heart moves forward, sitting bones move back, shoulders roll up and back, top of the ears move back. This is really all happening together. So it's fluid. Exhale, round. Chin is to chest and sitting bones are down and maybe even curling a little bit forward. Inhale, push your palms down, roll your shoulders up and back and your sitting bones back, and you're in that back bend. Let's lift up, arms rise up. Exhale, take your hands to the sides or back of the chair. So you can find the spot that's right for you. It could be towards the seat of the chair, and it could be a little bit upwards. We're going to roll the shoulders again a little higher. We were doing it here. Now we're doing it here. Shoulders roll up and back. Now we're going to let that heart move forward, and the top of the ears go slightly back. They don't want to go back too back. Like if they go too far back, then we're kinking the neck. So we want to maybe close your eyes and see if you can imagine the back of your neck super long. You're pulling your shoulder blades towards each other, and generally the chin is dropping slightly down so you can make a really nice line. Really feel the shoulder blades come in towards each other. It feels really good. And then push down, rise up, arms up overhead, and exhaling, hands to the heart. Bring your hands down, drop your right ear towards the right shoulder. Relax the right shoulder. Push down into your feet and your palms, head lifts. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push down through your palms and rise on up. We're going to work our way down towards the earth, and we will work on some things that should help the lower back and our upper body as well. So find your way safely. I'm going to put this chair against the wall so you see that. For me, that gives security. That chair is not moving. It's not going anywhere. Then I got a blanket to protect the knees. Hold on to the chair. Slowly lower down and move the chair away. I mean, you can put it to the side. I'm going to move it away so that you don't have to look at it. So here it's going over here. And now I'm going to put this all to the side so we can start. And we will start on our backs because I want to work on that lower back and do some tilts to the pelvis. And we'll do that leg stretch again. We're going to start here today. It's a little bit differently than we do sometimes on our back. So here we are on our back. And relax your head down. Now, let's just talk about the head when it's down on the earth. If the head is like this, meaning that the forehead is angling down, that means we need to move so that the neck is the forehead is more parallel with the earth than the chin is. So we don't want it tilting back like this. We want it like this. Now, sometimes it's helpful to put a blanket under your head to help that tilt. So this is what it would look like. Not a big, tall blanket, just a little one, so that the blanket's just under the top third or half of your head. So they're just the little bony point is down. Now, you should be able to take your hand to the back of the neck and feel a curve. There should be space between your neck and the floor. We don't want the neck flattening. And that's one of the reasons sometimes people have neck pain, when the neck flattens. So a flat neck would be like taking your chin towards your chest here. So, and keeping it there, which wouldn't be very nice. So that's just to give you an example. A flat neck would be if the back of your neck is pushing down into the mat. So take your hands to your hips and let's tilt the pelvis forward and back, and forward and back. Now, sometimes in physical therapy, they have you squeeze your buttocks, but in yoga, we generally don't have you squeeze, but feeling a tone is nice. And so as you bring your pelvis back, you might tone your hips and your pelvic floor. You might even have a block in between your thighs and hug it. That can be nice too. And then I want you to find neutral between forward and back. And then let's place that strap on our foot. So very similar to what we did in the chair. I'm really into lather, rinse, repeat. But so this is a different way to get that stretch in our leg. And this very often helps our lower back. So we might start with the knee bent and we're pressing the footprint up towards the sky. And you might pulse the knee towards you and away from you a few times and eventually feel the stretch as you breathe in and you breathe out. Then when you feel the stretch, stay right there. Let's stay here for about 30 seconds or longer. If we were breathing in and breathing out, and it was 4 counts for the inhale and the exhale, that would be 24 seconds about. So almost a half a minute if we do it 3 times. So 4 times would be 32. So 4 complete breath cycles would be a nice place to be. You feel the stretch as you breathe in and you breathe out, trying to keep your pelvis neutral. So it's not going too far up and it's not going too far back like that. Because if it goes back like that, sometimes this is what happens to the neck. So we want to keep that all neutral. Let's now externally rotate. So the toes are going to go out and the heel is in. And feel that for about 30 seconds. And you might bend and straighten a few times. If it's too intense, then by all means, bend your knee a little bit. We breathe in for about 4 counts. And we breathe out for about 4 counts. So you can feel your belly as it expands and descends back down. Then bring the toes back towards you. We're going to open up the leg out to the side. Now the inner thigh is getting a stretch. Now, if this left hip tries to go up, pin it down. Pin it down. Don't let it go up. And you can also use your hand underneath your right leg to give it support. If you are super duper loosey-goosey, you can extend the left leg. But that's only if you feel like you need a little bit more of a stretch. Now, try not to stress your shoulders out while you're holding this tie. And the leg is heavy, so try to give it a little support with your right hand and hold the tie with your left. Breathe in and breathe out. In breath and out breath. Let's bring the leg back up. Now from here, we're going to cross it over the midline. So now this leg is going to go towards our left. And you're going to feel a stretch along the outside of the thigh. This is where, again, where you get to make it your own. If you want, you can let the leg fall more. It's going to intensify the stretch. If it's too much, come on out of it. Bring the leg back up and find that spot where you feel a stretch, but it's not taking your breath away. Breathe in. breathe out. We're not looking to take the breath away. We're looking to be right with it. Breathe in. And breathe out. In breath. And out breath. Let's take the strap off and go right to number 4. So now we've got our ankle over our thigh. We're gently pressing the thigh away. And you can take your hands to your pelvis and see if it feels about neutral, so that it feels level. At this point, you can stay right where you're at if you're getting a hip opener, or you can pull the knees towards you until you feel a stretch. And then stay there. The right foot is flexed. And you might even sway right and left, rock it. Breathing in and breathing out, or you might weave your hands inside the triangle and pull your knees towards you. And enjoy this hip opener. Breath is in and breath is out. Let's find our way to happy baby. So roll right and left, feet are up, knees are bent out to the side, and rock it right and left. Play with really giving it a good rock, right and left. Breathing in and breathing out. And then place your feet back down and we'll do the other side. I'm just going to roll to the side so that I can meet you and you'll be able to see the outside leg. So we go back to, let's roll the pelvis forward and back a few times to find neutral. So here's forward. A little creepy crawly could go underneath there. You would be able to take your hands underneath your back. Then if we take the top of the pelvis down, that creepy crawly cannot get underneath the lower back. Rock it forward and back, and then eventually find neutral. Belly's toned. Keep that neutrality in your spine as you take the strap around the left leg. And we're going to gently press the heel up with our knee bent and eventually finding a straighter leg. Does it mean it's going to straighten all the way? Nope, not necessarily. It's tight back there, but try to keep your pelvis level and try to keep the foot over your pelvis, over your left hip point. Pushing the heel up and the toes towards you. And that's when you're going to start to feel a stretch behind the leg. Bring your awareness to your whole body as that leg stretches. And then bring your awareness back to the leg. Now, maybe you feel more of a stretch on your left leg than you did on your right. And that's information for you. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Notice that you might feel the sensation even in your foot. You might feel it in the bottom of your foot or even in your arch or towards the back of your ankle and into your calf. Let's turn the heel in and the toes outward. Now we have our external rotation. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. In breath. And out breath. Toes back forward. And lower the leg out to the side. If you hold the strap with your opposite hand, you can experiment and see which is best for you. Is it best for you to hold it with the left hand or the right hand? if you hold it with the right hand, then your left hand can give the left leg a little support. And then you can gradually lower the thigh down. Now we don't want this right hip to lift, so we're pinning that down. So the pelvis still stays neutral as the left leg goes out to the side. Notice how the stretch changes the longer you stay in it. The more support you give to the leg, it might take some of the intensity away. And then we're going to lift the leg up, and now we're going to cross it over the midline. So now our left leg is going to go to the right, and notice what you feel. You don't feel anything, you might go a little further. Another thing that's really nice to do is imagine somebody's pushing on your foot and you're feeling the leg bone go more into the hip socket. And so what I mean by that, somebody's pushing on the sole of your foot with their palm, and you feel a stretch a little bit more intensified. If you're not feeling it and you want to take the leg over to the side, you can. And then notice where you feel it and stay there for a little bit. This is where this hip may lift. You might tilt more onto your right hip as the left leg goes to the right. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. And we'll inhale and take the leg back up. Release the strap and find your number 4 pose. So cross the ankle over the thigh. And notice if you're feeling anything with the thigh pressing away and your right foot down on the earth. If not, pick it up and pull the knees towards you. Left foot is flexed. And you can do slight rocking here. You can be still and feel how the stretch starts to enter the hip area or the inner thigh area. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Breathe in and breathe out. And let's find happy baby one more time. Knees towards you, footprints up towards the sky. Your hands can wrap around your legs. There's no right or wrong way with the hands. And roll it. Roll it right and roll it left. And we're going to roll ourselves onto our belly for strengthening the paraspinal muscles. So you're going to roll to your side and then find your way on your belly. I'm moving that blanket out of the way. And you can stack your hands and place your forehead down on your stacked hands. And return to your breath. Now, some people like to turn their head to the side, and that's fine. You can turn your head one way or the other, or you can have your forehead down on your hands. Then let your hips sway right and left. Let them sway one side and then the other. Breathing in and breathing out. Then return to center. Tone your hips. Lift your right thigh and push the toes away from you. And feel your right leg lengthen and then lower it down. Let's lift the left leg. Reach your toes back. Feel your left hip tone and place the leg down. Then let your hips sway right and left once again. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back to center. We're going to take our arms out to the side and our hands out to the side. And you're going to take your elbows a little bit forward of your shoulders. And so the forearms are down. Then draw your shoulders up and back, and you're going to feel a slight arch to your spine. Then lengthen your right arm and rock towards your right side, not all the way. And your left fingertips can be on the earth with the elbow up. Then come back to center, and we'll do the same thing the other way. So the forearms pressing down on the left side and the right fingertips are up. So you're almost rocking towards your left hip, but not all the way. If you want to, by the way, you can. And keep drawing that shoulder up and back. And let's do that again. So rock it. Now, if you want to straighten the right arm, you can feel that shoulder opener. So the stretch is going to feel across the front of the shoulder. You're just kind of rocking right and left. It doesn't have to be extreme. And you can kind of play with how much you reach that opposite arm. You can keep the opposite arm, the elbow bent or straight. And we're just rocking it a little bit. Now let your head move with your spine, so we're not holding the head. And then come back to center. So it's a little bit of rocking on your belly. You can see I just moved around here. Let's come into Sphinx. In Sphinx, the elbows are just slightly forward of the shoulders. Now, here's an example of the head being too far forward and the neck will flatten. So my hair is a little messed up here, so you can't see the neck. So I'm going to pull it. Here's head too far forward and neck is flattened. Here's head lifting to about right. So this is where you can see the heart and the head and the back of the head are slightly going back and the shoulders are back. That's where we're looking to be. And then we can tone our hips. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel a nice tone in the hips. This is Sphinx posture. You can feel your belly pull in and up, and that supports your lower spine. If you're feeling too much, then come on down. And if you're feeling like there's something going on in that lower back and it doesn't feel right, I would lower down and then do some pelvic tilts like the inchworm here with the sitting bones up and then down and then up and down, and maybe sway the hips right and left. If you're feeling any crunching, anything going on, please get out of it. Another thing people like, I'll just mention it, you can put the blanket under your rib cage and under your hips, and very often that helps too when you're on your belly. Let's take our arms forward and then push the fingertips down into the earth, and you'll feel the underside of the arms lift. Then karate chop the earth. Press your pinky sides down. Feel your hips tone. You're going to feel your shoulders slightly lift and the back of the neck long. Lift the right leg and maybe the left arm. I always say maybe because it is a maybe. Now the head is not dropping down. It's upwards and the left arm is reaching up to about ear height. Not necessarily perfectly, right? We're human beings. We're perfection just as we are. Let's lower the arm and the leg down and do the other side. Left leg lifts, right arm lifts. Feel a toning in the leg and the hip. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out and lower down. Let's take a little break. Let your forehead relax down or turn your head one way or the other. And we're going to go into a little baby cobra. So hands by the side of your heart, fingertips down, shoulders up and back, heart rising. Now, gaze a little bit towards your right. That's it. Inhale, come to center. Gaze a little bit towards your left shoulder. Inhale, come to center. Now we're going to do what's called serpentine cobra. So it's like a massage on your belly as you circle. And you can feel the shoulders move back as you lift one way and around. Let the head be nice and loose. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. One more, because these are so good for our back. You can take your hands down by your side. Draw the shoulders up and back. Notice how the back of the neck is long. The head's not dropping forward and it's not kinking back, or the neck's not kinking back. Press the top of your hands down, shoulders up and back. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. Gaze a little bit forward and down. Feel a tone in your hips. Maybe legs lift, maybe they don't. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower down. We're going to pull back towards a child pose. You might want a blanket underneath your knees. You're curling your toes under, hands by your side. As you come up, pull your belly in towards your spine and then rock forward and back. Rock forward and back so that you're doing this gently and gradually. Gently and gradually. So important that we don't just rush into something. Now, I'm going to give you a few options in our child pose. You can use blocks. Trying to find two that are about the same size. And place them in front where your hands might go. You don't have to. It's just an option. And then hips are moving back towards heels. Do they absolutely need to touch like that? Nope. It's going to be where your body is at this moment. But we're lengthening our spine in this pose. Hands can be on the blocks or hands can be down. And wag your tail a little bit. Let your hips move to the right and then the left and come to center. The other thing I really love is placing a block under my third eye. It's just nice, but if you don't like it, if it feels claustrophobic, then that's just an option. Certainly don't need to do it. But notice the lengthening as your hips feel heavy and your tailbone lengthens down. So this should be a nice stretch right about here. Now, some people have trouble with their knees, so you might have a blanket underneath your knees. The other thing is sometimes people have trouble going this far back and they feel a pinch in their knees. And if you do, you can place a rolled blanket like this in between there so there isn't that pinching. And this can be nice too. Now, if your feet tend to cramp, then you might want a blanket underneath your feet. So there's so many different options for child pose, but it is a nice pose for lengthening the spine, which is why I'm spending the time to give you some options. Child pose is one of those poses where either you love it or you don't love it, or you're just grinning and bearing it, something like that. But notice how it's lengthening the spine. Now, the other one that's really nice is downward facing dog for our spine. And let's look at a few options there. So you could have your knees down for a downward facing dog. And when we're doing our standing day on Wednesdays, we use the wall and we call it wall dog or chair dog. Here's what half down dog looks like on the knees. And here's what full down dog looks like if we start in our table, curl our toes under, and lift our knees up. We're in downward facing dog. And that's a nice stretch for the back of the leg. So you have options. You could be in child pose and lengthen your spine. You could be in a half down dog with your hips up over your knees. Your palms can be down or up. Or maybe your hands are on the blocks. This is lengthening the spine, or you're going towards a down dog, like this. And you don't have to straighten your legs all the way. Sitting bones go up, they reach up as you press your legs back. Do the legs have to straighten all the way? Nope, they don't. Let's come on down and find our way onto our sitting bones, and we will slowly lower down. Oh my goodness, time always goes so fast in this class. It's too fast. Let me give you some options for relaxing on your back. And you can use a block or a pillow and put it underneath your sitting bones in a restorative bridge. I'm also going to remind you guys about this neck release that's really nice too, but it's not for everybody. So one of the relaxation poses would be to put a block or a pillow underneath your sacral area like this. Now we want to make sure our neck is not flat, there's space. We don't want the head going like that. That means the chin's going to the chest and the neck is flattening. We want the back of the head gently pressing into the earth. And if this feels like too much pressure on your head, get rid of it. You don't need it. Maybe the block needs to be lower or a pillow underneath your buttocks. So that's one option to relax. Of course, you can be in traditional Shavasana with your legs out or bolster underneath your knees. Or this is constructive rest with your knees together and your feet out. And maybe your hands on your belly. And this other one that I love for the neck, if you have two blocks, is to place the blocks like this. So one block is flat like this going vertically, and the other one, you can see Tiggery chewed that block. And then your head rests on this one. So it looks like this. And you have to find the right placement, and then your head is on the block. So what's nice about this is it's opening up this front of the body, and your arms can go down by your side, and you can stay there for a little bit or not. Now, if you don't have two blocks, this can be done with a pillow and a rolled blanket. It also can be done by varying how you place the blocks. And I'm happy to show you that after class if anyone wants to know. I think that opening the front of the body is so important that it's worth taking the time to find a restorative pose that you can stay in and have a little back bend in. And then I've shown you guys before, but I'm just going to show it again. It's rolling the blanket like so. And this is really nice too. Something like this, and you put it down, your sitting bones go towards the edge of it, you lie down on it, and then you can make a little pillow for yourself underneath your head. This is a really nice, soft back bend, great place to be. You can have your feet wide, your knees together, or you can lengthen your legs and let them flop to the side. So no matter what one you choose, allow your body to completely and totally relax. Relax your breath, meaning relinquish any control over it, and let your body go. Feel the sensation of relaxation. Because you've been moving for the last hour, you're probably feeling a liveliness and moving around inside your body. So notice it and feel it and enjoy this position that really helps to facilitate the mind, the body, and the spirit connection. Mind, body, breath connection. Feel the whole spine relaxing and feel the shoulders relaxing. Feel the back of your head supported. You might keep a little space in between your upper and lower jaw. That can help to release any tension in the facial muscles or in the neck area. And stay as long as you want in your resting pose. It's your weekend, and it's your practice. And you might think of something you're grateful for. It could be for being here now. Doesn't have to be all complicated. It could be for someone that you're grateful for in your life. It could be for the ability to breathe and feel. Feel all the skin on your body relaxing. It's like it's draping over your bones. Feel the whole body. Maybe it feels like it's a floating sensation, or feel the full support of the earth underneath it. Relaxation can be really the most challenging part of the class for many. And so you may only stay a little bit, or you might choose to stay longer. When you're ready to come up, we roll to our side and we use our hands to support us as we rise, but stay as long as you want in your resting pose. And I'll close our time together with the hands at heart center, bowing inward, sending thoughts for peace in this world with our breath. In Sanskrit, the word for peace is shanti. A lot of times you'll hear teachers at the end of a class say something like shanti, shanti, shanti. So we'll say peace, peace, peace. Namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful